On January 30th, 1925, in the rugged hills of Kentucky, a man named Floyd Collins ventured into a dark, foreboding place called Sand Cave. Armed with just a kerosene lamp and a hammer, he squeezed into an opening barely 5 feet high. The passage was impossibly tight, forcing him to chip away at the rock just to move forward. The darkness was absolute, pierced only by the flickering flame of his lamp. He soon reached a notorious section known as the turned-around room. Even seasoned cavers, daunted by what lay ahead, would retreat from this point. But Floyd was different. He was driven. To proceed, he had to conquer a passage so narrow it was compared to the size of a soda bottle. Inch by inch he wriggled deeper into the earth, pushing himself with his feet until he was swallowed by the rock. He reached a small opening and prepared for the final descent, a tight 10-foot vertical drop down a chimney-like shaft. Tying a rope to a rock, he carefully lowered himself down. He was on the verge of his greatest discovery, a massive hidden chamber filled with dazzling gypsum crystals. For a month he had toiled, clearing sand and stone to carve this path, and today success was within his grasp. After completing his work, exhilarated and dreaming of the tourist attraction this cave would become, Floyd began his arduous journey back. But then disaster struck. His kerosene lantern flickered and died, plunging him into total blackness. Disoriented but not defeated, he pressed on, feeling his way through the familiar passages. Suddenly, a misstep sent his leg crashing onto a loose rock. In a horrifying instant, a 20-kilogram boulder shifted from above, slamming down and pinning his foot. He tried to use his other leg to push it off, but there was no room to move. The more he struggled, the more rocks and debris rained down, locking him in an agonizing, contorted position. Ice-cold water dripped on his face. Trapped 60 feet below the surface, with no way to free himself, Floyd Collins did the only thing he could. He began to scream for help. For nearly 24 hours, his cries echoed unanswered in the silent darkness. Back home, his family grew frantic. His father, uncle, and younger brother, Homer, rushed to Sand Cave. Near the entrance, they found a hammer and other items, a chilling sign that Floyd was inside. Homer bravely ventured in, calling his brother's name until he heard a faint, desperate reply. Homer squeezed through the treacherous passage, finally reaching his trapped brother. He managed to pass Floyd a sandwich and some hot coffee before assessing the grim situation. Floyd was pinned by the boulder, surrounded by loose, unstable rock. The slightest movement could trigger a catastrophic collapse. Homer had two terrible options: go in feet first, which would block him from reaching the rock, or go in head first, an incredibly risky maneuver in the cramped space. He tried for hours, but every attempt failed as more debris fell. Defeated for now, he promised Floyd he'd get help and scrambled out of the cave. When Homer emerged, he was met with a shocking sight. A massive crowd had gathered. News of Floyd's plight had spread like wildfire. Reporters swarmed the scene, including a journalist named William Miller. When Homer, exhausted and distraught, told Miller to go ask Floyd himself what was happening, the reporter astonishingly agreed. He crawled into the cave not to help, but to get a sensational story. He actually tried to interview Floyd, who was fighting for his life. Miller's story made national headlines. The area around Sand Cave turned into a grim carnival. Thousands of people arrived by train, vendors sold food, and hotels jacked up their prices. All this commotion on the surface was dangerously destabilizing the ground below. A rescue attempt was made by tying a rope to Floyd, but as the crowd pulled, the vibrations caused a section of the cave to collapse, completely sealing the passage. There was only one hope left: dig a new 60-foot shaft straight down to Floyd.
It was a race against time. The rescue team began to dig, but heavy rains turned the ground to mud, halting their progress. After days of relentless work, they finally broke through. But they were too late. They found Floyd's body, silent and still. After 17 days trapped in the dark, his struggle was over. It was deemed too dangerous to retrieve his body, so the rescue shaft was sealed, turning the cave into his tomb. For years, legal and political battles ensued, until finally, in 1927, his brother Homer led a team to recover Floyd's remains, bringing him home to be buried. It was a tragic end to a story that had captured and horrified a nation. Thank you for watching. If this story moved you, please give this video a like and share it. And if you're new here, consider subscribing for more incredible true stories. We'll see you in the next one.